Awesome. So yeah, today my guest is going to be a person who I've been kind of connecting with over the days, working on making sure that we're all involved in what we're producing and production. So I'm just waiting for her to pop up on the screen to let her share her story. So all of you hopefully have had a wonderful week of building your business and being connected as women. And there's been a lot out there on the web, so I'm sure there's ways to motivate and create the kind of consistency that you want. So Cindy, nice to see you. Thank you for being here. If you can come off your speaker, that would be great. So glad you're with us.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
And good to see you guys too.
Thank you
How
for
is everyone
jumping on. I really loved talking to you the other day. And so Cindy Ficklin comes to us from our Grand Junction office. And on one of my powers to be kind of connecting with different people, I bumped into Cindy the other day and I was like, you know, how come your business is so good and what you're doing is making things right? So I asked her if she would step onto the call to share some of her stories. So awesome to have you here and for you to share, because I believe those things do matter. And everybody has a way of doing business and it might be different and it might actually motivate someone else to explore that opportunity. So what I didn't ask you is, how long have you been in real estate?
Almost 20 years now.
20 years.
So a long time.
A long time. Yeah.
I remember long before smartphones, I remember having to MapQuest where I was going to be going because we didn't have, you know, Siri or Google Maps or anything. And I would go and drive that route before the day before going out with clients. So things were really different back then.
Things have changed.
Yes.
Do you think the tools have made your life easier?
I do. I'm really, you know, one of the neat things about our industry, and we're so lucky, is that like I can go to Thailand and still be working. Of course I have to be up at 2 a.m. but still be working. Like we can work from anywhere now. And it's really exciting. We're just so fortunate in our business, especially those of us that have been in this a long time and have grown the business like we have. So yeah, and we can appreciate the tools that we have today.
Right, you see the reflection. So one of the things that when we talked originally, you are tracking very well on creating listings, and specifically just in the last couple of months. And when I asked you that question, I really enjoyed your feedback. So tell me a little bit about why you're able to create listings and how that's happening for you in a market. Most people say it's hard.
Sure. Well, and then also as far as listings, like last year, and the year before, 2020 even, I did so well. I got salesperson of the year in 2020. And that's in part because I just had so many listings. And that was, you know, I gravitated toward listings. And really what that is, it's just been all about, okay, so I want to separate where, and I'm not saying not to do these things as a realtor, but I think it's important to make the point what it is that I do that's different, that works for me. So I don't do just listed, just sold cards, birthday cards, Bronco schedules. I don't even have a CRM. Todd calls me his, you know, black sheep, because that is really unusual to not have that. But the reason that's important is I can isolate what it is that I do that is successful. I do a lot with social media, mainly Facebook, and I am super loud. And so I kind of buck the trend, and where I talk about everything. I do get political. All of my clients are on the same, you know, in the same political circles that I am. I am out there. You know, I remember at one point I had a boyfriend who told me that I was only allowed to post twice a day. More than that was excessive. And I tried to stick with that, you know, to make him happy. And finally, thankfully, that relationship ended. And man, great. I post and post and post, and my posts get shared. I think yesterday I had almost 100 shares on one of my posts. Wow. Some of them are big, long things that I write. People go to my writing and read that. Some are just funny memes and things, but I am out there and I get people with either an emotional response or they think something is funny. But they literally do go to my page these days and see what it is that I have put out there, because they know they're going to get some level of enjoyment from it. And so they really do go and look for it. Now, I post probably every 10 to 20 posts is when I actually talk about real estate. And I might creep it in a little bit like I did this morning. I kind of creeped it into another story. Or I might be right out there with, here are the 10, new listings I have, and these that are under contract, and these that I've closed. Or one of the things that I really appreciate that we have at Coldwell Banker are when they publish out, like when I made top 7% in the world of Caldwell Banker agents. And they made a really pretty graphic for me. I got to share that out and shock everybody, like, whoa, she does a lot of business. I probably should do business with her. Or even we have, top listing agents or top business for the month, always getting those out there and showing people, hey, I'm successful, because successful people want to do business with successful people. But I always make sure that I intersperse that sort of thing with lots of other topics, whether, real estate, how hard it is to be a working mom. I do talk about my personal life. Some people are like, you share way too much, Cindy. Really? Well, do you have the real estate numbers I do? If people feel that connection with me, that I do that. So as many people, that want to go and criticize it, it works, and it's worked for me. The fact that I don't do other types of marketing, I think really is a testament to that. I'm also involved in a lot of community and service organizations, political organizations. So I am everywhere. But I do think that having, that sphere of influence really has also added to my sales. But I will say that it's really been social media and picking up the telephone. I can, people send out the birthday cards. I actually get really irritated when I get a birthday card from my financial advisor and it's like, his secretary went and signed, I'm like, really? I'm not that important. I call my clients. I'm like, hey, happy birthday. What an opportunity for a touch. Back, I'm in Lions Club. In Lions Club, we had to sell so many Lions Club tickets, those of us that are Lions. Well, I went and bought Lions Club tickets for my clients. However many properties I've sold with them, that they listed with me or that they bought with me, or even the number of referrals. I put their name on the tickets. I took pictures of them, sent them to them, posted on Facebook, called them, said, hey, I put you into the raffle because, and this many raffle tickets, and this is why. Oh my gosh, that was huge. And all of those were touches. Those were conversations, personal conversations where they knew I was thinking about them and thankful and grateful for them. And so, and all of it just boom, 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 turns into business. And always I have that conversation. Do you want me to pull comps and tell you what your property's worth? That's it. Not sell, do you want me to just do that for you real quick? And, well, of course they want to know. And I do have those conversations with them about Zillow, that Zillow is, just an algorithm that, can be wildly inaccurate.
Right.
And so let's see how, the difference, and then I can tell you what it's really worth.
Well, Cindy, it's like you use the word real. You're just being real. You're just being yourself. And I think, sometimes people are like, so maybe my conversation is different than someone else's, or my opinions are different, but the reality is you're doing business. Right. And everybody has an opinion. You're not shy. You're not willing to bring it to the table. You're exposing it and you're interacting. And I think the other piece when we talked originally was, you don't just post, you literally spend time communicating back and forth with people in that venue to build it. And it's super important to your daily life. And it's like your medicine, right?
It is. It's kind of my medicine. I think other people's too. But when somebody takes their time to, comment on one of my posts, I take time to comment back. And sometimes if I can tell that there's some sort of something going on in their lives, I'll go ahead and message them and say, hey, is everything okay? What can I bring you? And I will, and I'll show up and I bring them what they need. And that always shocks them. So, it's really just going that, that extra level for people and doing for people, because at the end of the day, that's what we are. I've the new agents, I tell them, this is my piece of advice to them. I'm like, don't work for a paycheck. Do not work for a paycheck. Work for your people. Bust your butt every day for your people and make sure they know how hard you're working for them. And you will always have a heck of a business. And the money just comes. And then you get referred out, their friends, and then their friends and their friends will refer you out, and you will just you'll have more business than you can do. And some of them hear me on that, and others work for that commission. And I'm just like, no, work really for the people.
That's great. Well, and especially if you've been in the business for 20 years, you also adapted to a new medium, right, at some point, and you embraced it and you just went to town on it. And I think when we talked, I felt personally invigorated by your energy and by your commitment and the way you do it, and it being different, and just applying yourself. So I think that's why I wanted people to hear your voice, because I was like, we sometimes think it's in a box and these are the basics and these are the rules and this is what you need to do. And actually, in Cindy's case, it's not about any of that stuff. It's about something totally different, which is really where it needs to be, at the heart and soul of what you do. And for that, I just super commend you as a woman doing that. And also just sharing it with our group, because I think sometimes we think, like we said, it's cookie cutter, and it's not, and you matter to us.
Exactly. And you'll have people that will tell you, oh, don't do that. You can't do that. Right. I had someone tell me, they were like, Cindy, this was, oh boy, it was probably 2006, I think. Somebody, because I got into Facebook in 2004. In 2006, Cindy, you got to get off of that Facebook. Like that's not going to be good for you. And this was someone I admired. And I was like, oh, but I see a potential there and I enjoy it. And, so I went forward, thank God, and now that person, I see them from time to time and they're just like, oh my gosh, so don't necessarily listen to the naysayers either. Try new stuff. Have fun failing at it if it's going to fail, and then don't do it anymore, but do something outside the box and go for it. So in my caucus, I'm a state delegate, but in order to make sure people got to caucus and voted for me, I went and knocked on all my neighbors' doors, and my caucus is huge. So we're talking, hundreds and hundreds of doors. And here's my business card. I'm your neighbor. Come vote for me. Well, my business card says, call me for a free comparative market analysis and no obligation. Boom. I mean, it's all those, nobody would think, oh, let's kill these two birds with one stone. Well, no, I have a reason to knock on your door, and that's because I want you to come to caucus. Right. But here's a little, wink, wink, if you're thinking of selling your house, I love living in this neighborhood. So I know I can sell it to someone else that will love it too.
Oh, Cindy, it's so nice of you to share. Thank you so much for being here and just letting your energy show up on the page, and for just being a strong woman that's making something happen. So
thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk soon. Bye.
You too. Bye. Bye.